everyone. Welcome to The Path TV. We're Phillip and Laura Baker, and as always, thanks for spending some time with us. Today, we're going to get a little further down that path. What path? Well, a great marriage. It's not a destination. It's a journey. It's a path. And man, we're all on that path, and we want to get a little further along. And then maybe if you're out there and I don't know, the storms of life, you just had a lot go on, and maybe that marriage has found itself kind of running on fumes, sitting on the side of the road. Maybe we can get you back on the road today and get that process started. That sure would be awesome, and it'd really be an honor to be a part of that. And so that's what the Path TV is all about. This show streams all over the world, and one of the things that's universal is marriage. It takes work. It takes work. Men have to work at loving their wives. Come on, and women have to work at honoring their husbands, and you got to work to make it work. That's right. And so that's what the path is all about, right, babe? Absolutely,
and it's just, it's one of our heart's desires is to help. I mean, it's a passion of ours, and one of the reasons is because in all over the world, not just in America, there's an attack on the family. There's an attack on marriages. There's an attack on your children. Especially if you're Christian, there's such an attack that, marriage, you don't have to get married, you shouldn't get married, just if it's easy, get out. There's just such an attack from the enemy. But it was an institution set up by God. Mm-hmm. He knows better than we know. And so if you're married, I don't want to skim through life and get to the end and go, oh, I made it.
Yeah.
No, I want to enjoy life. I want to have fun.
Absolutely.
I want us to, enjoy each other, enjoy our children, enjoy our marriage. And life, marriage on earth, it can be heaven, it can be wonderful. Or as some of you know, it can be absolute hell. Mm. And so that's what we're trying to help you with. And let me say this, no matter where you're at in your marriage right now, we have watched God multiple times restore marriages. Marriages that everybody else would have said, no,
right.
No, y'all just go ahead and get a divorce. No, y'all just, y'all don't need each other. But we've watched God turn people's hearts. And when their hearts are turned and their faces are turned toward Jesus and they get whole and they get healed, then the marriage can get healed.
Right.
And so no matter where you're at, don't give up. Don't give up. Work on you and let God work on them.
Amen. We want your marriage to thrive regardless. I don't know if you noticed my T-shirt I got on today. This has been the theme of when I go into churches. This has been the theme this year is thrive regardless. Ephesians 3:20, that unto God who's able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we could ask or think. Yes. And I didn't have this made. I preached this in Amarillo, Texas. And that church got so excited about that word. Somebody in that church got so excited about the word that they designed this. They had it made, Kale, and sent us some shirts. And so I just wanted to wear it today. But listen, there's a lot going on in the world right now. But you know what? We're going to thrive regardless. No matter how the economy, or disease, or, gas prices, whatever. You got to get that in your heart that you're going to thrive regardless of what's going on in the world. Marriage, come on, spiritually, physically, financially, you got to dig in. Husbands and wives out there listening, y'all got to dig in. You got to get to a place where you're not going to blink. You got to get the word in your heart and the word in your mouth, Ephesians 3:20, that no matter what's going on in the world, we're going to see God do exceedingly, abundantly, above all we could ask or think. We're going to thrive regardless, and there ain't nothing the devil can do about it. Amen?
You got to say it. You got to say it. You're not going to see it till you say it.
That's it.
You've got to say it. You just can't hope that it's going to happen. Oh, Brother Phillip, I just hope I'm going to thrive regardless. I hope. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm believing with you. If you're not saying it, you're not going to see it.
Right.
It's got to be part of your DNA. It's part of our DNA.
Absolutely. So I thought that's,
I like it.
If you were wondering what this T-shirt was all about, I just give you that for free today. But listen, this is the second part of a message that we wanted to share with you concerning wisdom. Wisdom. With all thy getting, get understanding, get wisdom. Seek after wisdom. Ask, seek, knock. Go after wisdom. Be like Solomon. Come on, when Solomon When God appeared to Solomon in a dream in 1 Kings 3, ask what I shall give you. There's so many things he could have asked for, but he asked for wisdom. In the hour that we're living in, we need wisdom. I'll give you a prayer you can pray. And the prayer is it's inspired by the Word, but really it came out of a movie. Came out of a movie. The movie was called First Night. And came out probably, I guess, in the late 80s, maybe, early 90s. And it had Sean Connery and Richard Gere. And Sean Connery was King Arthur. And David, I believe, Richard Gere was Lancelot. And so they're sitting around the round table. And they're discussing some things. But before they do, they pray. They prayed this prayer. I've never forgot it. I pray this prayer all the time. I love this prayer. King Arthur, he prayed. He said, Father, give us the wisdom to do what is right, the will to choose it, and the strength to make it endure. Ooh, I like that. I'm gonna say it again because you're like, ooh, that's good. Say that again, Brother Phillip. Give me the wisdom to do what is right, the will to choose it. It's one thing to know what's right. It's another thing to choose it. Yeah. And then you just don't choose it once.
Yeah.
You got to choose it over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Give me the strength to make it endure. And so we're just sharing some things with you about wisdom, because wisdom, when wisdom is chased and celebrated, come on, you're going to have a great marriage. When wisdom is chased and celebrated, you're going to have a great marriage. And so I wanted to read James 1:5. It says, if any of you lack wisdom, come on, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God that giveth to all men liberally and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. I'm telling you, you're going to hear me say it again. When you sincerely come before the Father, humbly, not coming before him like you're all that in a bag of chips. Come on. You humbly, sincerely come before the Father in the mighty, wonderful, incredible name of Jesus. And you ask him for wisdom. There will be an impartation. He will deposit something in your spirit. And then it's going to be up to you to water it with the Word, and begin to apply the Word. And your life will begin to change. Your life will begin to turn around, and great things will begin to happen in your marriage. But again, wisdom, it's something that's got to be chased. It's got to be something celebrated. It's got to have high priority in your life.
Wisdom is very much like your spouse. You know, men, when you saw your wife and you chased after her, you chased after her because it was something you wanted. And you also celebrated her. You told, oh, baby, you're pretty. Oh, you're sweet. I love how you do this. You chased and you celebrated your wife because she was a priority in your life. When you chase and you celebrate wisdom, you're showing God it's a priority in your life.
Absolutely.
I like that.
Absolutely. All right, so we're going to give you a few little tidbits of wisdom that that's come across our path throughout our lifetime. And I think you're going to grab a hold of them, and just we want you to think about them, ponder, meditate on them, and see how you can apply these little pieces of wisdom into your life and into your marriage. All right, so here's the first one right here. Oh, and I like this one. This one's big in me. I can't tell you how many times I've shared this in churches. I've shared this specifically with my own kids. I don't even know where this came from. I don't know who I heard it from. I don't think it's one of mine. I probably read it somewhere. It doesn't matter. All wisdom comes from the Father. But here it is. Let me tell you what wisdom never does. Here's what wisdom never does. So if you're operating in wisdom, you ain't never going to do what I'm about to say. Wisdom never risks a lot for a little. Risking a lot for a little. Let me tell you what every person in jail has in common. They all risked a lot for a little. Yeah. Come on, think about it. There's people that are spending years in jail over $100, over $500, over $1,000. It don't matter, over $5,000, over $10,000. They risked a lot for a little. They were, oh my goodness, they were doing something they weren't supposed to do. They were with people they shouldn't have been. They let their emotions. Yeah, they got involved in emotions, and they risked the rest of their life over something perishable, something quick, something emotional, something, ooh. Never risk a lot for a little. Everywhere you go, everything you do, the relationships that you have, the decisions you make, am I risking a lot for a little? When it comes to marriage, you can apply that to people you're in relationship with. It's like as a minister, I'll give you a good example. As a minister, I've been put in a lot of situations where I'm talking to another lady. I ran a Bible college for 10 years. And so there were times where I found myself having to talk to a young adult, a girl that was between the ages of 17 to 25, and maybe she had gotten in trouble, maybe she needed something, whatever. She was in my office for some reason. Can I tell you something? The door was always open. Door was always open.
Or there was a woman in there.
Or there was a woman in there with us. Why? Because I ain't going to risk a lot for a little. I was never going to put myself in a situation where something could be said, something could be twisted, something could be... I was not going to put myself in that situation. Oh, it's not a big deal. Wisdom never risks a lot for a little. And so that door was open, or another woman would be brought in there, and there's safety. Well, that's where that comes from. And so when it comes to decisions you make with who you're with and why you're there and what's going on, and you let that settle on the inside of you. Do a risk management. A risk management over that decision, and ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth it?
It reminds me of one of our children was working in a restaurant, and they were having issues with one employee. Now, this employee wasn't even a boss, a manager, but was having issues with one, and one of our children was like, well, I am fixing to tell them off. And I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this. And I'm not saying that the stuff that they were going to say was right or wrong.
Right.
I don't know, wasn't there. However, that person that they wanted to go after had been there for a long, long time. And they were very grounded, and they were loved by leadership there. They were loved by the bosses there. Had our child done that, that's another way. You're risking a lot for a little. Yeah, he would have got some things off of his chest.
Wouldn't have made a difference in that guy's...
No, it wouldn't have made a difference at all, and it would have brought reproach on him.
Yeah, it just made the guy mad.
Yeah, absolutely. But people do that all the time.
All the time.
All the time. I'm angry. I want to tell you, and you risk a lot for a little.
Yeah.
I'm frustrated. I'm hurt. I want to do this. You risk everything in your life for a moment of peace, for a moment of satisfaction, for a moment of revenge, or whatever it is.
You're going to nitpick your wife on something.
Ooh.
That really doesn't matter, but
you want to be right.
You just want to be right. And so, all right, so you're risking a lot there over something real small. And so you wind up having 3 or 4 or 5, 6 days of bad atmosphere over something that was little. Never risk a lot for a little. Woo, that's some wisdom right there. Because that's what I'll switch it and we'll move on. The fool always risks a lot for a little. And the world's full of them. That's some good stuff. All right. Hey, we've got a book that is full of wisdom. Got 2 books that are full of wisdom. This one right here is called The Move, From the Shallows into the Deep. You can get this on Amazon Prime, and it'll be at your house here in a couple of days, The Move. But there's also our newest book, which is called The Build. And this is leadership builds God's churches, ministries in your life. And if you want to know more about what God's called you to do and how to achieve that and how to travel that road and how to end your life, knowing that you fought a good fight, you finished your course, you kept the faith. Well done, my good and faithful servant. You're going to love that book. And so, hey, check this out. It's going to tell you about the move, the build, and we'll be back in about 60 seconds. Hey guys, welcome back to The Path TV again. We're Phillip and Laura Baker. And both books, The Move, From the Shallows into the Deep, The Build, they're on our website. You can go over there, philipbaker.org. They're on Amazon Prime. You can get them in Kindle or paperback. And man, they'll just be a blessing to your life. Hey, while you're at our website, make sure and sign up for the Daily Move. It's a little email that goes out all over the world every day. It's free. Only takes about 15 seconds to sign up, just your name and email, and it takes about 15 seconds to read. It's not about the quantity of words. It's about the quality of words. And it'll challenge you, inspire you, encourage you, and it'll be a blessing to you. It'll move you. It'll move you. Well, hey, we're talking about wisdom. With all thy getting, get understanding, get wisdom. And we want to be like Solomon. Come on, we want to grow in wisdom. We want to grow in wisdom. And if you ask for it, I'm telling you, God will give it to you. And so we're just sharing some things over these last 2 episodes that just been little bits of wisdom that we've gotten from life and from people over the years that have been a blessing to us. And the first one was, never risk a lot for a little. I hope those words burn in your heart. I hope those words guide you for the rest of your life. I hope you take those words and put those words in the heart of your children and your grandchildren and teach them that. And so let's move on to the second one. This one is, and this one's something that you and I, that we believe in, but at the same time, you know, some people don't. And so we're just going to share with you some things of how we think about it, and then you can make your own decision.
Well, you know, we talked earlier, I don't know if it was this episode or the last one, we talked about those hard conversations. In marriage, you're going to have hard conversations to build a marriage, to increase a marriage, to grow a marriage.
Yeah, earn trust with one another.
To earn trust. And I don't know if you know this or not, but when you get married, when you walk down the aisle, when you say I do, when you are Mr. and Mrs. Blank,
yeah,
you can still be attracted to the opposite sex.
Yeah, you married, you ain't dead.
Right, absolutely. You know, and sometimes in church, you know, we don't want to talk about this. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's taboo. We're not going to talk about this. But you need to. Mm-hmm. Because the reality is, with divorces, we've got over 50% ending in divorce in marriage. Marriages ending in divorce in the church. If you've got that high of a number, you know a lot of those happen because of infidelity, because of extramarital affairs. Well, okay, let me give you a clue of how the enemy tries to come in, okay, into a marriage and tries to put separation.
Yeah, let's run the scenario at work.
It's super, super easy. Mm-hmm. You know, you're having issues at home, your wife's busy, your husband's busy all the time, you never have time for yourself, you never have time for each other, and you get to work and the enemy, the devil, is going to make sure that somebody that you find attractive.
They just hired a young lady they just hired a lady at work.
Or a really cute guy.
Or a really cute guy. All right. So here they are. They're new. Take it from there. Go ahead.
And they come into your office and it just starts out very innocent. Oh, you look really nice today. Mm-hmm. You may not be getting that at home. And all of a sudden, it's attention. It's attention. What do you do with that? They come back in and say, hey, you want to go down and get some coffee? You start spending time with them. What do you do with that? Well, listen, this is a discussion that's got to happen early on in marriage. And we've talked about wisdom. I was very thankful that my husband was wise because it wasn't long after we got married that we had this talk. And I don't think I would have ever, in my wildest dreams, had this talk. But he said, look, if you find somebody, because sometimes, you can think someone's cute, no big deal, but sometimes there's an attraction.
Yeah. We're not talking about somebody walking down the street and you're going, wow, that's a good looking guy, or wow, we're not talking about that. We're talking about somebody at church. We're talking about somebody at work. We're talking about somebody that's in your life, that's in your life, that's around your life, that's a part of your life.
That you see daily, that you see
all the time. and there's an attraction.
Yeah.
And you know it, and that other person knows it, and you're finding yourself kind of flirting with them, and you know they're flirting with you. What are you going to do about that?
Well, that's where that hard conversation should have come in earlier, because you need to look at your spouse and go, listen, if I find someone attractive, if I tell you this, I'm coming clean. I want to be honest. I want to be open, because the enemy doesn't, the way the enemy comes in is by the deception. is by the lies.
Lie of omission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is by the secret. He loves secrets. He loves secrets. If he can get you to keep a secret from your spouse, then he is wedged in there. Okay? But see, when you go and say, honey, I just want to remember that conversation we had a few years ago about being attracted. Yes, I just want you to know there's a guy at work and his name is whatever, and you just come clean. Listen, I'm doing that because I love him and I want him to trust me, and I want him to know it because I'm exposing the enemy, I'm exposing the lie, I'm exposing the secretiveness of it, and he knows. And see, when there's secret, then there's all these things can happen and they don't know. And you get there's something exciting. Sin is fun for a season. And there's something exciting about it. But then when you open that up and you expose that, I promise you it's not going to be as much fun because you're going to know that they know, right?
Right.
And then, you've got the other side. If I tell you, you have to be secure enough to not, get carried away in jealousy.
If I told my wife that, she'd lose her mind. If I told my husband that, he'd lose his mind. My husband could not handle that. My wife could not handle that. They would get so mad. They would jealous. Okay, well then, we got some issues, don't we?
Trust issues.
We got some issues. We got some issues here that need to be dealt with, because that kind of emotion, that kind of jealousy, that kind of control, that kind of
well, it stems from insecurity.
Woo! That's going to take you somewhere you don't want to go.
Yeah, that stems from insecurity. So if you tell your spouse that and they just blow up and just get completely just enraged and jealous, then they're not secure in the relationship.
Right.
They don't have that, I know that you're with me no matter what.
Right. So if I am attracted to somebody, hey, I'm not going to tell my husband or wife.
There you go. The enemy.
And then the devil's just sitting there chuckling, going, ha ha, I got something to work on now. I got something to work on now. And you look up in a few weeks and a few months and a year, and man, that thing has thrived because you never cut it off at the root. That's right. And so, listen, we're not saying this is doctrine. I told you right up front, this is something that we believe. Some people don't. I'll give you a real life situation. I remember years and years ago, and where I heard this from was my instructor at Rhema Bible Training Center. He gave us this to think about, and I thought about it, and we kind of built this in. And I remember one day it was her birthday, and we were sitting at a restaurant, and Laura was sitting here, and there was this girl. She was sitting right here, and we were probably in our mid-20s. This was a long time ago, and for some reason, this girl was like paying attention to me, and I kind of found we just kind of had this banter. It wasn't too much because Laura's sitting right here. I mean, Laura was sitting right here, and there was this kind of banter and this kind of attraction, and it was just kind of weird. And so I got home that night, and I went. I said, that girl that was sitting across from me, and she goes, yeah, so and so, and I went, yeah. I said, I don't know what that was. I said, but there was like an attraction there. There was like some flirting going on there, and that was weird, and I'm just letting you know. And she was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
That was the end of that.
I'm not going to say I didn't give her stink eye after that, but.
That was the end of that. You just completely removed the enemy's ability to be able to turn that molehill into the mountain.
Because I promise you, had he not said that to me, there would have been times that the enemy would have orchestrated them being by themselves. I promise you, that would have happened.
It's just wisdom.
Yeah.
You think about it, and you think about it. All right, third one. Number one, risk a lot for a little. Number two, talk. When you're attracted, build that kind of trust.
Yes.
In a relationship, and I'm telling you, it's going to be some good wisdom there for you. And number three, I don't think we got to spend a lot of time on this one, but I think it's worth saying. Who are your friends? Who are your best friends? First of all, we've talked about this in the past. Relationships are so important. Friends are like elevators. They either take you up or they take you down. When God wants to bless you, He puts someone in your life. When Satan wants to curse you, He puts someone in your life.
That's right.
Show me your friends, and I'll see your future. And so there has to be an element of wisdom when it comes to who your friends are. Who are you hanging around? Who is speaking into your life? Who are you going places with? Because they are impacting your life in a positive way or a negative way. So overall, the friends in general, there has to be an incredible amount of wisdom exercised to make sure that you have friends that are bringing out the best in you and not bringing out the worst in you. But then also you have this idea of, well, you know, she's one of my best friends. We've known each other for a long time. I've known her since we got married. Well, he's one of my best friends. I've known him before we got married. There's nothing going on. There's no attraction. We're just best friends. We're besties.
Yeah.
And it's someone from the opposite sex. What do you think, baby?
Was it the movie Guys and Girls Can Never Truly Be Best Friends? Listen, your best friend needs to be your spouse. It just comes down to that. What happens if you spend a lot of time with somebody, you say we're just friends, you spend enough time with somebody, you begin to build an intimate relationship, whether it's over laughing, whether it's over talking over emotions and things that are going on in life. You build that intimacy, and what happens is one of you, it may not be you, one of you will start to develop feelings. And you say, well, I have no feelings. I do not have feelings that way toward that person. Mm-hmm. But what if they have feelings that way toward you? Well, I can't help that. They're just going to have to get over it. No, it'll build a wedge in your marriage.
Yeah.
It will.
Wisdom.
And so, no. Do I think guys and girls can truly be friends, best friends? Not on the scale of spending a lot of one-on-one time with each other.
Yeah. I've got 3 other women in my life besides her. McKinley, my youngest daughter, Madison, my oldest daughter, and Ginger. Ginger is my aunt. We've known each other since I was born. She is my sister, and she is her best friend, and we vacation together, we do things together. Those are the only 3 women in my life besides her. All of my friends are guys, and they all bring out the best in me. Just some wisdom for you. Hey, hope you enjoyed this episode of The Build. If you missed any episodes, go to our YouTube channel, PBM Phillip Space Baker, and catch up, subscribe, hit the bell, and we're gonna keep traveling down the path, and we just so appreciate you. Hey, see you next time on The Path TV.